This video was taken from our Live at 5 show over on Patreon. If you would like to come and join us on Patreon for all the exclusive videos and live shows every day, the link is in the description.
Let me ask you a question, or ask everyone a question here. Anyone can answer it. Oh, man.
Even you, Bill.
Do you think the days of giving 27, 28, 29-year-olds anything more than a 3-year contract is over in terms of FFP and what we've learned in the last few days?
Yes.
I would hope so, yeah.
But what I'm going to say to you on the flip side to that is there's trends in football at the moment. Obviously, because a lot of smart people have said the value is in buying players young. Eventually, the value will be in getting older players for cheaper because they've lost value. So, but then again, the statement still stands that yes, they would still be on lesser contracts, because I doubt you ever bring a Gylfi 6 and a 27 on a 5-year deal, because there's always that risk that you're going to need to sell them in a couple of years, and we can't get the money back. So yeah,
I suppose what that would do though is it'd make it difficult to get them in some way, wouldn't it? Because if they're settled at a club and you're trying to buy him, say a 27-year-old, possibly 28, and then you say, but we want you for 3 years, and they're like, well, hang on, I want a 5-year deal.
Me and Andy were talking about this last night, funny enough. Well, he mentioned something to me, about Michael Keane.
Yeah.
It's about leaving. And we were saying, well, Michael Keane now, in the summer's got 2 years left, right? Yeah. So Everton either have to sell him or give him a contract. There's no real in between there. No. Can't let it go down to the last year. So, if someone comes in and says, we'll give you a 3-year deal, and Everton offer a 3-year deal, he's got a choice to make in terms of where he goes. And if both clubs stand on that, like if you go to Michael Keane and go, give you a 5-year contract, of course, but you're committing a stupid act, really, by offering a 27-year-old. If the clubs not come together, but if it becomes a uniformal thing that you're not going to offer
more than 3 years,
because as we spoke about in the last few weeks, you get into a situation where like Sahar, where you're 27, 26 going to 27, signing a 5-year contract, and then finding yourself that you're knackered because the club's got maximum value for you then if they want to sell you, but no one wants to offer. So you're stuck. Then you are stuck into that contract. I know people always say contracts mean nothing. Well, they do if you're stuck on them. Yeah. They absolutely do if you're stuck on them. They've got no.
It depends how determined your club is to keep you. And if they're determined to keep you, then you're knackered. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you might go, well, I can get out of it, but if no club's gonna pay you what the club who owns you, it's all about registration, isn't it? That's what you're talking about. We're not talking about contracts.
Yeah.
The registration. And so if you've got someone's registration and you're saying, well, to get him out of this registration, you have to pay, with Zaha's case, 70 million for 28-year-old, and then he's going to want 130, 40, 50 grand a week at 28. Who's paying that for him?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No one with sense is paying that for him. On the FFP, yeah. And you know what? It's not even FF. Well, it is, because obviously that's UEFA in Europe, but it's the Premier League rules. And Everton will find this summer.
Cost control.
It's going to be. Everton are in a situation. Jamie Carragher apparently said this last night. It seemed like Everton, who've got a lot of money to spend, can't spend the money because of the Premier League rules and because of FFP. Nonsense. Right? And Everton will find this in the summer. Is that they've got a lot of money to spend, but they can't spend it. And what we will have to probably do in the summer is sell to buy.
Yeah.
And that means that people will hear that and won't like it. But it's not because we're skint. It's because of the way the Premier League cost control rules are. So it's a tough one, because it means that, John mentioned this the other week at the AGM.
Yeah.
When he said, eventually Everton going to have to sell Richarlison for a lot of money, because that way it clears the decks.
Yeah.
And it does. And we don't want to hear that as a football club, but until we are making more money and we're satisfying the Premier League, that's probably how it's got to go. Liverpool had to sell their 3 best players over the past 5-6 years, make big money and reinvest. And we'll have to do it because of the way the Premier League rules are. And FFP, it's designed to keep the big teams where they are. It's not, they don't want anyone crashing the party.
They've pulled the ladder up behind them. That's all they've done. They've pulled the ladder up They pulled the ladder up behind them and they don't want anyone else to join the party, and it's as simple as that. Yeah. It's a load of nonsense. Again, if you want to do something fairly, the only way to do it is to do a salary cap, right? Now, again, me and Andy were talking about this last night, and there's different ways of looking at salary caps, of course. But if you set up a competition before, and you say, right, this tournament, so let's say it's the Champions League, right, and you say this tournament is going to have a salary cap, so you can't spend any more than whatever, but that salary cap might be slightly different from the Premier League, and if everyone adheres to that, certainly if it's the Champions League, it'll work, because the problem with FFP, is that if Everton want to buy a player and give them good wages, they can't, right? So you're actually denying someone good wages. Yeah. But if you've got a salary cap and the salary cap is big, but it's the same for everyone else, for everyone, then it becomes a fair playing field. Yes, there's a limit, which there should be. We should get cost control, but that limit shouldn't be on how much money your club can generate, because that's nonsense. Because that's like saying, and funny enough, Andy gave this example last night. He was saying the owner of Amazon could come in and buy Atkinson Stanley. Well, why can't he? Why can't he come in and buy Atkinson Stanley and put loads of money into it? Why can't he do that?
Because they don't want him to.
Yeah, exactly. So why can't Machiri come into Everton? Why couldn't Jack Walker go into? Well, Jack Walker did go into Blackburn, and Liverpool fans were clapping their hands when Blackburn won the league at Anfield, weren't they, and beat Man United. No one was asked about FFP then, were they, or cost control. What they saw is a fellow with their ex-manager coming in and taking the title off the established team and breaking up the monopoly, right? Well, now Liverpool are trying to break up the monopoly of Man City, yes, they've done it. They've done it outside the rules of FFP, as it's seen. But what? So what? This is what I don't understand. Everton Football Club or Atkinson Stanley or anybody should be able to take money and say, we're going to turn that money into success. It might happen, it mightn't happen. But it doesn't mean that we are trying to break the rules. If, for me, a salary cap was in place and you said, this is how much money you can... Not like when you you do fancy football and we go... Oh, I've got fantasy football. I've got
100 million.
I've got 100 million to spend, and suddenly you have to start thinking about it. But at least it's fair, because my 100 million. Oh, I know it wouldn't be 100 million, but let's say it's 500 million a season or something like that. Well, my 500 million is exactly the same as your 500 million. Your 500 million might come out of good kit deals, good sponsorship deals, the people you can get in the ground. My 500 million comes out of my arse pocket. What's the difference? Why is your money better than mine?
Well, the whole point of it, allegedly, why people were interested was for show things like Leeds didn't happen and Portsmouth didn't happen. You know, dodgy people come in. And that's what they
that's what they said.
Right? But as long as you can prove you've got the money, then it shouldn't matter. Now, you know, I've said it before, we've got Machiri and we've got Alisher Usmanov, who's got billions
in his role as sponsoring certain elements of Everton Football Club.
Now, if Everton want to spend 600 million this summer, they could do, but they can't do because some stupid rule tells you that they can't, despite having that money there to spend. And so what they're saying is, you know, sorry, but Man United can spend it because they create this amount of money, but you can't spend it. So how's that? It's supposed to be a fair thing in competition, and it's not fair.
And so what happens this summer, right? If I'm just throwing this out there, because these seem to be the people who are laughing at it most. But let's say Liverpool this summer wanted to go and buy Mbappe, right? And Paris Saint-Germain went, you can have him for 400 million. And Liverpool looked at it and just went, we've got to buy this player. He's ready to come. Klopp's wants him. Desperately wants him. Can't. FFP. FFP won't allow it. Would they'd suddenly change their tune, wouldn't they?
Oh, of course.
But if it worked with a salary cap where they could say, we can afford 400 million this year, no problem, because we run a tight ship and the team's all in place, but I want that one big player and I've got 500 million to spend. And I want 400. I'm going to give we're going to get 400 million for him. Then suddenly it's different, isn't it? I'm just picking Liverpool out there because they are doing it one way and Man City have done it a different way. But the time may come when you want something that FFP isn't allowing you to have.
Well, we've got it now, haven't we?
Exactly, and I do believe that there should be some kind of cap, but it should be the same for everyone. It shouldn't matter. If you said to Man City, right, you can only spend X amount this year, rather than use FFP. I know Man City have been caught, but that's down to bad paperwork more than anything. But FFP, there's always going to be a way around it. A salary cap, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. Now, people might say, yeah, but actually, those big clubs can afford 500 million or something. Let's say it's 500 million. We're only a small club. We can't afford 500 million. Well, what difference does it make then? Because you can't afford it with FFP, so you can't afford it with a salary cap. Whereas a club like, let's say, us or Man City or it could be Liverpool at some point, if they can afford it, then why couldn't they? There's always been haves and have-nots in football, right? What this is doing is stopping potential haves from going forward. And all it'll create is a monopoly, and all it'll end up with is a Super League. That's the mad thing about it. It'll drive a wedge between clubs.
You're right.
It'll drive a wedge between the big clubs and UEFA if this continues. But I don't think a salary cap would. I think a salary cap is fair because it's fair for everybody. I really do.
You either do a salary cap, you do a spending cap, whatever. Yeah. That everyone's the same, though. You can't go, Man United can spend 400 million this summer, but Everton can only spend 100 million. It's nonsense.
That's unfair.
It's absolute
That's
nonsense.
Unfair.
Yeah, in playing in the same competition. It's nonsense. And someone needs, I hope, in a way, I hope City go and go balls out with the thing, because they can get it thrown out, because it's illegal, really. It's restriction of trade. And it's not a fair competition.
Well, I mean, it is and it isn't, I imagine, because I suppose it is, but it also, if it's in the rules of UEFA's tournament agreements. What?
What I mean is teams what they can.
No, what I mean is that I'm not a lawyer, so I can't. But I imagine that if you looked at Man City's terms and agreements or anyone's terms and agreements of Champions League, there's nothing stopping them from buying players, but it's probably more down to the fine print of whether you can register those players for the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can.
Yeah, but the Premier League.
No, that's what I'm saying as well.
The Premier League is illegal.
No, but it comes down to how actually.
It's the wording of the.
No, that's what I'm saying.
What
work? What I mean is, it's like there'll be working agreements, but then there'll be like Premier League and UEFA agreements, and they're separate straight away. So they're probably saying, you can sign who you want, you just can't play them.
Do you know what AC Milan did? AC Milan basically said that they took a ban from Europe because they kept failing FFP. And this year what they did is they said, we'll take the ban this year. They spent a load of money in the summer in the hopes that they get to the Champions League next year and obviously be able to pay all these players. But unfortunately, they're not going to do so. They're going to be hit again.
They haven't got... I don't think they've got the same rules, though, for Serie A.
No,
and that's our issue.
The Serie A, what teams are doing in Serie A for years is basically two clubs that move a load of players between each other and cook the books when no money was changing hands and saying, we've received 450 million for these youth players. They hadn't. And it was all crease of the can. I think that's why Palmer went under originally.
And that's why whatever happens in this City deal, right? Whatever happens in the City thing, those clubs now know how not to fall to these rules, and that's what, do you know what I mean? This will be the thing where every club will now study how Man City have been caught to make sure they don't get caught.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like we were talking about last week, we were looking at Paris Saint-Germain and all their contracts that they've got from companies in Qatar. Do you know what I mean? Where their owners are from, and obviously that's where Man City had fallen short as well. But I just think it's a nonsense, and I think we should be looking to just bring a salary cap in, and I think that could work better. Mark G says UEFA will never go for a salary cap, and it has to come from UEFA for all top flights at the minimum, is because they don't want their precious Champions League finals to be Atalanta and Seville. Well, I appreciate that. And he also says, read the salary cap for a change. The States knows what it's doing. In baseball, you cannot spend more than $260 million. The Yankees and Kansas City Royals can both spend that amount. The Yankees spend 260, the Royals spend 60. It's an even playing field, and it's up to an individual team to want to compete.
Yeah, that's right.
No, they can spend more than that, but they have to pay luxury tax.
Yeah.
So rich teams can afford the luxury tax. The issue is the agreement between the MLPA, which is the players' union, means that the players do, worked out. Owners would never enter an agreement where the players in football get the lion's share of the money. So that's why I think salary cap's hard to bring into football, because it limits not the top players. The top players always get top money, but those next level down, it'll limit their ability to earn, and that's why they wouldn't have a salary cap in football.
Needs something.
It does.
Needs something, because it's
going out of control. Basically,
it's absolute nonsense. And you can't have other leagues that don't have the same problems as us. How can we not be allowed to spend money? Because we're run by two clubs who don't want anyone else stepping on the turf, do they? Bizarre. It's absolutely...
Not three, because Arsenal's the same as well.
It's nonsense. Yeah. Anthony Morrison says, with the ban given to City for FFP, do you expect Mashiri to find alternative ways of getting news enough dough into the club that hopefully won't come back and bite us on the behind like it was with City? Well, the problem with City is that, like I said, it all comes down to bad paperwork or something, didn't it? Because it all got found by that lad. It also come down to leaked emails, which has got them in trouble first. But the lad's in jail. The lad's in jail. Who this is the lad who found it all that went into... Was it Build? Was it? Yeah. And the lad's in... The mad thing is, and this is what's mad, is the lad's now in prison. Like, it's mad how the world works, isn't it? Like some people like Snowden in Russia, can never go back to America. There's been other people that have... Julian Assange, whether you like him or not. These people who have who've leaked stuff that have opened the world up to things like the Panama Papers and all this kind of thing, and offshore tax and all this thing, and they're the ones who eventually get in trouble for it. It's mad. What I do think is that, like I said before, this will give clubs an idea of how to get round FFP. It'll make them more savvy. It'll make them... This is why I've always said about Usmanov. This is why when people go, "Oh, will he go on the board?" No, because the less connection he has with Everton Football Club, the more money they can take out of his companies. It's as simple as that. He can be a the way the rules are. That's what I'm saying.
The unfortunate thing is, Mashiri's on the board in nearly every company he works with. But he's not on Everton board. Who Mashiri?
Mashiri.
Not on Everton's board.
He's the principal owner, though, isn't he?
Doesn't matter. He's not on the board.
So it's only if they're on the board.
Well, I don't know, but...
No, well, it's because Usmanov isn't registered at Everton anyway.
No, but he's tied to...
But... No. Because Usmanov's not on the board of a lot of these companies. Usmanov came off the board of a lot of these companies because America and Britain were getting so tight on the Russians... that he decided to come off. So he might even be on their boards, never mind on our boards. Listen, we used to have a shadow guy at Everton a few years ago who paid for quite a few players, and that was kept all quiet. And so it does happen, and it will always happen in football.
There'll be ways and means to get round it.